Good morning, guys. Oh, how's everybody? I hope you guys are wonderful. I wanted to come on one because I feel like I haven't made a video in a really long time. But two, I procrastinated and I keep putting this video off, but I don't really understand why. I think it might be like me, um, like a fear of sharing or something. I don't know. Well, I don't know because that don't really match my personality. So I don't know exactly what it is. But whatever it is, I'm sucking it up today, and I am gonna give you. I would say Gabriel's birth story, but it's hell. The birth was the easy part. um, so I wanted to do this last week during the on the 21st, March 21st, because it was World Down Syndrome Day. But procrastinating, like I have been really in a straight hermit mode. But let me just start by saying, hi, my name is Tiffany, and I have a kid with Down syndrome. So most of you know what Down syndrome is, but just for those who don't, it is a congenital defect. I don't like the word disorder. It's a congenital birth defect. Congenital means, yeah, from birth. So I shouldn't have said birth. That's like redundant, right? Anyway, so did I know? Well, first of all, so I have this kid with Down syndrome. So I love to see these children because I don't feel like I interact or interacted with enough families or other families who have children with the same need as my Gabe did. So that is my one regret. I don't really have many regrets. That's definitely one of the two that I could think of off top. But just I regret not getting him out there and getting him more involved. But Lord have mercy, I was trying to survive. You hear me? So, when I found out I was pregnant, first of all, we're not gonna talk about it taking me about 4 months to wrap my head around that. But found out I was pregnant, and it took some time for me to accept that, but I accepted that, and I was like, Lord, of all the people, I don't even like kids. It's so funny how things can come full circle, right? Because I love kids now. And for many years now, they are a lot more like enjoyable to be around than adults usually. Anyway, so I going along in this pregnancy, wrap my head around being pregnant. Towards the end of my pregnancy, my blood pressure started going up. So I was pretty young too. I was like 22 years old. So I don't know if you know or not, but most people think that people people that have Down syndrome are born to older parents, and that's just really not the truth. My personal theory on it is God is going to do what he is going to do, right? He knows the potential of the parents that he assigned such a duty to. That's what I think. And so, it's going to be what it's going to be. But the other week I was at this place. I don't know why I keep taking my seatbelt on and off. But the other week I was at Jason's Deli a few weeks ago, probably about a month now, because that's how she procrastinates. And I met this guy. He seemed really nice, named Mitchell. But the reason we ended up talking was because I noticed his little sweetheart with him. He was 3 years old, named Linus. And I was like, oh, you look like my baby. I remember my baby looking like that. But, and so of course I let him know that I had a kid like that. And we just kind of started talking or whatever. But so part of my wanting to do this today is just because it's some people. My baby is 20 now. Lord, can you imagine that? My baby is 20 now, but it's some people who are just starting on this journey, And there are so many people on the outside that look in and just really think you have everything all together, and you just really be hanging on by the thread. Do you hear me? By a thread. Many years of me hanging on by a thread. But anyway, I'm gonna get started on the story. Y'all know I'm long-winded, and I'll be wanting y'all to get this whole meat of this thing. So anyway, so Gabriel get towards the end of my pregnancy, the high blood pressure developed. So they put me on bed rest. I was doing okay at the time. I was doing contract work, and so I was on a long term assignment at the time. I'd been there for a month or two, I guess. And when the doctor told me that I was gonna have to be on bed rest, I was like, I got like 2 more months of money to stack. You know what I mean? So I was devastated, emotional, humongous. Called my mom crying. What I do that for? Cause I don't know. Moms being moms. By the time I got to the place from the hospital to pick up my check, to the job from the hospital to pick up my check, my mom had already called them and ratted me out and told them that the doctor told me to stop working. Y'all, I was so mad. Ain't even no way to say that. Another way to say that. There's not another way to no, I was pissed. I was pissed. I felt betrayed. I was sad. I was unhappy. And I'm super so I was planning. I had a plan, but the doctors threw that all off. But it's all good. So I went on bed rest, and that was miserable. If you know me in my current life, I stay on the move, right? Um, Even though I always had somebody with me, like me and my sister had an apartment together at that time. Uh, Even though that's the case, I just I like to stay active. I don't like to be sitting still. You know what I'm saying? It's always something to do. I'm pretty independent, so I don't want to have to ask nobody to do nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? But cut to this dang on bed rest sentence, because that's what it felt like, a punishment. So my mom, she lived literally up the street, probably a 5 minute walk, a 2 minute drive up the street. So she would bring me breakfast. She'd bring me lunch. That's when Wyatt's restaurant was still open. So your girl was eating good, y'all. She'd bring me breakfast, lunch, and dinner literally every day. Yeah, she was amazing in that regard. I also think she was trying to stay super helpful because she had sabotaged my money plans a little bit, because I definitely was going to keep working. I was not going to tell those people that I had to go on bed rest. So yeah, that was probably divine intervention, boy. Anyway, so that's a long leash for that baby, big furry baby. But anyway, so cut to the chase, cut to the long story short. So I started it started being looked at as kind of a high risk pregnancy because of the high blood pressure and whatnot. So I was quickly going to the dang doctor every freaking week. That was annoying, but also that was the fun part, because you get out of the house. You get to see people and stuff. Of course you lose all modesty, because you get used to seeing so many doctors and having so many doctors come in there for you, to stick their hand in your privates. Yeah. Stick their hands in your privates, you lose all modesty. So at some point it's just yeah, come on, check. You know what I mean? That is something that I do remember about that. Oh, everybody and their mamas in here. You just get used to it. But anyway, so the day that I went into labor, I remember being on the phone with my girl Jamie. And it's so funny because at this time when this was occurring, I didn't even remember this. Jamie mentioned it a few years back, and I was like, oh, we sure were. I'm so grateful that she brought that to my remembrance, Because I feel like after such traumatic things, sometimes you forget the couple of little good things that occurred in the mix. Um, y'all ought to turn my car off because I'm just sitting here. But I'm gonna get through this video today, so it is what it is. Um, yeah, so I go into labor. It's like 10:30 in the morning. We watching something on TV and chit chatting. 10 something in the morning. And I'm like, I read so many books, y'all. I had the What to Expect When You're Expecting book, because I feel like that was just my pregnancy Bible. Um, Anything that the doctors would mention to me or the tests that they would run, like I was ahead of the curve. Do you hear me? Because, well, one, I'm just that way anyway. You're not gonna be able to just do something to me and not have me knowing what the heck you doing. That I've just been that type of person anyway. I'm a learner. It's what I do. And so I'd already read about the whole process of labor and delivery. Um, Children back then, we had, libraries where you could like check out books and videos and stuff. I know, so ancient. Uh, oh my God, look at that pretty bird. Y'all, I'm at the lake, of course. It's just gorgeous. I'm supposed to be working, but I stopped right here and got sidetracked like a mug. But anyway, so see, this is why I'm gonna have to edit, cause y'all, this bird is beautiful. I tried to take a picture of it. It's like black with like some red, like right up. It is gorgeous. Then when it flies, you can see it like right at the wing, the red. Good stuff. Anyway, um, so we going into labor. We get to this place, St. Paul. St. Paul, y'all, is not even around anymore. Um, oh, I forgot to tell y'all that definitely when did I something happened with my insurance that there was a change throughout my pregnancy. Y'all, I was going to this one doctor. Luckily, I don't even remember his name because I was most definitely say it right now. I'm going to ask my mama later on. I would most definitely say his name right now. But baby, he was like, yeah, we don't take Medicaid. So as soon as I showed up for that appointment, he was like, yeah, so this will be your last appointment. Ah, what? I mean, like, y'all, he dropped my ass with the quickness. It's so crazy. I should have remembered that later when I thought about going into the medical field. That should have been my red flag right there. That's already something that I would not be able to do. I'd be the doctor that's giving away free medicine and stuff. So yeah, that would be me. But anyway, but to each his own. We all have, well, whatever. So that's neither here nor there. I get this new doctor. They took excellent care of me at St. Paul. It was kind of like it was a hospital, but it had like a women's clinic attached to it. So they took excellent care of me. I will give them that. Um, and so going into labor this day. Now I probably had went to sleep on this part or something of my hospital tour because baby, we got down there, me and my mom. It was afternoon, evening by that time, 5 some, I guess. Cause I didn't want her to have to leave work early and I get there and not be dilated and none of that stuff. So I was like, just take your time. I'm fine. It's far apart. Child, we got down there. I felt like we sat down there for a really long time, but it might not have been that long, but it was a while before we realized, duh, we're supposed to take those elevators upstairs while we sitting here ringing this bell waiting for somebody to come and say, may we help you, to check us in. We were supposed to go straight up to the labor delivery floor. It was so dumb. So anyway, by the time I get up there, they put me into the room because, yeah, clearly I'm having contractions and I'm in pain. At this point, yeah, when the contractions come, I ain't talking to nobody. I ain't trying to hear none of that. So they put me in a room, they check me, and I'm not dilated to 3 yet. So they can't even keep you if you're not even at 3. So she tells me to walk the floor of the hospital, whatever. So me and Angie walking around the hospital. Baby, those things start hitting because the more you walk, the more the chemical is produced to once the process of labor starts, that chemical is produced and it causes your contractions to intensify. And so we're walking around. That started happening. It's like, okay, it's got to be go time, baby, because these things hurt. Like, I'm like, yeah, these things hurt. So we get back to the room. I'm like, yeah, is it time? I was just barely at 3, not quite 4 yet. And they gave me an epidural. Sweet relief, honey. So by the time like my family started showing up and stuff, like I couldn't feel nothing. Like y'all, like my legs are so numb. I'm like, y'all, my legs are sliding down. Put my legs back up on the bed. They were like, your legs aren't moving. They felt so heavy, like they were just sliding down. I don't know, I guess that's like an ultimate relaxation. But whatever, I was grateful for it. So it took such a long time because that was a nighttime, evening, all night. I remember my sister Monica came, and then she was there, of course, but then she had to leave and go to work because like nothing was happening. And it was morning time by the next day, on the 15th by then. And so they were like, yeah, it's go time. Like, I guess it was time. Y'all, I had so much epidural. I could not feel anything. I'm pushing, right? And my mom was right there looking, and her face, was like she was pushing with me. And I was like, oh, Mom, it's okay, because I don't feel nothing. Like, I'm like, am I doing it? You know what I'm saying? It's so funny. I feel like God blessed me with such an easy delivery. And then, boy, I say funny. It's not funny like ha ha funny. It's funny like irony. The irony of it. Because it really was pretty easy to get him here. He came with all this beautiful hair, beautiful straight hair, just a head full of it. He was adorable, adorable, adorable baby. Um, my cousin Shalonda Riggs was going into labor on that same floor. She's having her baby the same day. But yeah, so this is where the hard part starts. But it's not hard because I know how it ends. I know how it ends. And it's a good ending. But boy, okay. Here we go. Y'all be patient with me. It's worth sharing though. I think it's worth listening to and worth sharing. Anyway, despite my tears, parents, be encouraged. There's a purpose to every pain. There's purpose to every pain. So anyway, um, so we got nurses coming in like, oh my God, I just wanted to come see you and tell you how gorgeous this baby is. Like, he's so handsome. You have such a beautiful baby. These are the compliments we're getting from the nurses or whatever. It's like, cool. Like, I thought he was cute too. I had a little episiotomy, which is like where part of your ladies, your area tears, and so they have to sew you back up. So they did all that. I remember he got a 9 on his APGAR test. If you guys know what an APGAR test is, it's the test that the doctors do when the baby first comes to make sure that everything is just clicking on all cylinders, that the baby is whole and functioning and all that stuff. He got a freaking 9, y'all, out of a 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, he got a 9. So, like, no reason to think anything weird, right? They wrapped my baby up and brought him to me that evening. And that afternoon, no, not that afternoon, I'm mixing up deliveries. But they brought him to me like fairly quickly, moved me into a room. Um, and I remember him being swaddled and me just, talking to him, and I touched his belly, and he like did a little thing. And I can say that now in retrospect, in hindsight, you know what I'm saying? But like at the time, I just thought it was a newborn reflex from some outside something touching me. You know what I mean? And so I didn't think anything of it too much. Um, I don't even think I got around to feeding him. What was she? She was a neonatologist. Um, there's just not a lot going on, y'all, and I think my memory might be a little clouded too, cause this shit was traumatic. I can't even downplay it. To me, it was traumatic. Um, so the neonatologist comes in, and it's the nonchalance, I think, with which this lady chose to tell me something that would impact my life in such a major way. Golly, y'all, I did not mean to do all this. But yeah, so the nonchalance with which this lady chose to share this information with me, she literally walked in the room and said, so we're just checking him out. Well, I guess this is before they had brought him back. We're just checking him out. We want to run some tests. We think he has Down syndrome, but we're not sure. But I'll be back. Yeah, that was it. That was it. So, because you didn't express that like with any type of concern, like not real concern to me, I was like, okay, well, I saw him. He doesn't look like it, and surely she'd have spent a little more time with me if that's the case. You know what I mean? Surely she wouldn't have just said it that way. I guess the hell she would have, because she did. So anyway, I was just in denial. And a person who I thought was my best friend at the time, I was on the phone with her and I told her what the doctor had said. And she was like, and I was like, but I don't know, maybe she just said that. Maybe it's standard. And she was like, but why would she say that? What'd she say? Why would she say that if it wasn't true? So yeah, I was just still in denial, y'all. And so, a little while later, they came back and said, they did, they were sending off for the DNA test, but based on other features and things that they were seeing, they were pretty positive that he had Down syndrome. It gets better. It gets better. Um, so just, I think the pain from that alone, it was huge. It was huge. I remember my friend, I found this out like later, that my friend had come by the hospital. I was like, I didn't see her because she didn't come in, because she walked to my room door and heard me wailing and decided not to come in. So she just left the flowers or whatever. Thank you, Jessica. I remember that. I remember that to this day. Um, but I mean, just wailing, y'all. It was at the time. It was probably the most intense heartbreak I had ever felt. And I don't even know if it was just because he had Down syndrome, but I think it was also because, well, I don't know if you knew me or you knew me growing up or whatever. Um, I was a super nerd, right? So I had all these plans. I had all these plans of growing this super nerdy human, mini Tiffany, and you know, just building this superhuman. I had all these plans. So to hear that he's going to have a different ability And yeah, it's like dreams shattered. That's how I felt, I think. I can articulate it now. At that time, it was just an intense letdown. Anyway, intense despair, distraught despair. Because, I mean, yeah, I can still hear me wailing in my head. Like, that's how serious it was to me. Anyway, um, so then they came and said that that hospital was not equipped to handle the his care at that time. So they were going to need to take us to Children's Hospital. So you know that hospital district over there, everything is pretty much around the corner from each other. And so they were like, the hospital's like 2 miles away. So we're gonna transport the baby and discharge you. Yeah, y'all. I had him that morning. The 11 something. I need to look at that actually. But they discharged me like by 2. We were at Children's by the afternoon. Um 2 or 3, I'll say. So we were at Children's by the afternoon. I just want to give you the time frame to put things in perspective for you. And so ooh, I'm sorry. I knew this too, but I was like, nope, I'll be good. I ain't gonna need no paper towels, no tissue, nothing. Like I haven't met myself. Anyway, I go. My mom helps me like get all my stuff, and we go to the car to drive over to Children's, and I get the Children's, and it's so crazy because people were still congratulating me, walking to the car, asking me when I was due. Like I was huge, y'all. I was huge. Anyway, um, and then asking me when I was due, and we have to tell them the baby's here, but he in the hospital. So just keep praying for us or pray for us. It's so funny. I remember that, but I remember yeah, no, I think I was in the background crying. My mama was talking. um, but yeah, there was definitely no praying for me. I didn't think. I was so mad at God. So angry with God, right? I was so angry with God. I mean, that was just the beginning. Like, I was so angry with God. Like, we be in the NICU. My mom's like, let's do this prayer circle. I don't want to hold no hands. I ain't closing my eyes. I ain't bowing my head. I was so mad, y'all. So mad. But, yeah. Don't judge me for that. Even if you do, so what? We're human. um, yeah. And so we get there to meet this amazing staff at Children's Medical Center that I didn't realize how amazing they were. Dr. Sandra Clapp would become his cardiologist. Dr. Jay Roden would become his gastroenterologist. Dr. Treen was just the head bitch in charge. Like, she was just, yeah, kind of responsible for his care. She was a surgeon, though. So let me tell you about Dr. Treen. When I first met Dr. Treen, I did not like her at all. She was kind of masculine, kind of blunt. She was not trying to hold my hand or babysit me. But in retrospect, she was who I needed her to be at that time. She was so firm with me. I remember her telling me what they thought it was. They said, he has an obstruction in his intestines. Um, And so basically, what it was, the meconium, I think that's the word. Y'all, I turned into such a little nurse at this time. Um, so that's like the poop that is created when the child is still in utero, when the baby's still in utero. So the meconium that had accrued the entire time, it's like that black stool that passes their first stool, like it's really, really dark. Um, it just was stuck. It was trapped in his intestine. So they had to do this surgery to fix that. She told me, of course, that it would result in a colostomy. Just saying all the stuff that usually comes with children with Down syndrome. She said he will not have a normal life. Um, he will definitely need to be in under the care of physicians, like a strong medical team, probably for the rest of his life. Y'all, if that ain't a worst case scenario, but like all this is happening so fast. And so I was just like, do not operate on my baby. Let him die. Because I would rather him have this quick death today than to suffer and live miserably every single day. Yeah, that's what I said. So Dr. Tree basically was the one that was like, splashing water on my face, slapping me. Like, oh, that sounded loud, but it wasn't, y'all. I barely touched myself. Anyway, um, slapping me like, hey, snap out of this shit. We gonna do, she said, we are gonna do the surgery. We gonna save his life. You gonna get with it, or we gonna this paperwork to the judge, take your parental rights, and take care of this kid, and somebody else can raise him. Not that bluntly, but very, very close to that bluntly, right? Um, and what did I was just kind of like, so, yo, mind you, just mad. So I was just kind of at the point of like, so, okay, the garbage men are here to pick up. Let me let my windows up, cause they drawn to chit chatting with me. Anyway, I was like, so, of course. So my mom and my sisters was like, who? Girl, please. We was not raised like that. So it's like, yeah, like why would you I'm not if you have to and it's a decision that you want to make and it was good for you, that's fine. But for me, I was like, I would not even be able to function knowing somebody else was raising mine, even if I don't know. I just wouldn't be able to function. So we knew that wasn't going to happen. So of course I gave them permission to do everything that they needed to do. So what's first they need to do? First they had to do this thing. It's a barium enema, where they inject this dye so they can see like what the exact rotation is and what's going on inside. So they did that for him, um, and noticed that there was some malrotation. They did a partial colonectomy, which means they cut out part of his intestine and removed it. So we're supposed to all have these ganglion nerve cells. Y'all, I'm telling you, she was reading, okay? Because I don't want y'all, just tell me what you're trying to do. Tell me what the malady is, what you're trying to do, and then I'm going to go look it up. So you going to need to tell me, but you don't need to tell me because I'm going to go look it up. And so uh, they did a partial colonectomy. The ganglion nerve cells are what kind of cause the contractions in the uterus to kind of push the poop through your system down to the rectum to push it out, all of that stuff. So part of his intestines were missing those nerve cells. Y'all, it's been a long time. So nurses, doctors, if y'all listening and I got something wrong, I definitely want to be accurate. So correct me if you think I'm wrong. And if you correct me and I know I was saying what I was saying, okay. I mean what I said, okay. Anyway, so I'm getting warm, y'all. The sun is real. But so yeah, so they had to remove part of his intestine. Of course, on a baby, they are, well, not even on a baby, on any adult. When they remove part of your intestine, they are going to um one, there's some issues that come with that. There's definitely some recovery that comes with that. Um, yeah, they're gonna have to give you an outlet, and so he at that time got what they called a colostomy, and it's like a little bag that is, it's not a bag. They create a stoma. The stoma is the hole where part of your intestine is actually revealed. Like if you raise your, if I raise his shirt up, you can see part of his intestine is protruding. Okay, so that's called the stoma, and then the bag that you put on it is the colostomy bag, and the bag kind of collects poop. So I wish I was home. I think I still have one because I knew in my mind that I would do this video one day, um, and share this information. Children's is so awesome. They had a little doll for him. It has a colostomy. We definitely still have that because I refuse to throw it away. Um, so that he could see the doll that looks like him, and we could kind of show him what was going on. But that was not the first time. Yeah, he had two colostomies. Y'all, I can't make this up. Like, if I go through and tell you the ins and outs of this whole thing, this video is going to be way too long. Part of me feels guilty about that. Part of me does not. So how about we just do a part one and then a part two?